What's up, traders? 3 total trades today, 2 on NVTA, 1 on VNET. Let's get to it. We're going to start NVTA here. We got 92. That dropped way quicker than we wanted it to. We'll put them out there at 50, right around the 50 mark if it wants to get there. All right, we're going to get the ad there. Going to start VNET. We'll go full screen here. All right, we're going to get another ad there, up close for 50. See if it wants to go through. All right, we're through. Jeez. Thing's starting to squeeze a little bit. Man, right up to 24. Yikes. And we got to add up through 24 there. What's that put our average at? Not too great. We get to add on VNET there as well. Oh, geez. Look at this thing go. We're going to hit it there one more time. And we got one more ad here. What's our average at? 23.81. Yikes. Not the best of averages here. VNET looking for closer down towards 21. Our average on VNET is 21.46. I think we're going to have a... Jeez, this thing is going a little nutso. Alright, looks like we're going to get our last ad here. Wow. Alright, we missed that. If we were looking to add there, kind of caught me off guard. Put an order out there on VNET to cover 75% if it wants to get down there. A little stuck here on NVTA. I mean, we're not stuck, but adding here would be kind of crappy. Our average is really bad. Down there at 23.81. Might just be lucky to kind of get out of this one alive. Definitely going to be a stop at high of day, though, that's for sure. You can just put that in there. If it wants to get back up there, there's no way we're looking to hold on to this thing. So we're on the bid on VNET for our 75%. Trying to let this NVTA come back to us. All right, we got the 75% there on VNET. See if we can let that one work a little bit more for us. Need this breakdown through 25 on NVTA. Man, what a pisser this would be to start the week. Man, we were way early on this. I mean, even if we got to add up there on that pop, I mean, there's really not much we could have done about it. This is going to be almost like right at our max loss if it comes back up the high of day without any more ads. That's why I wasn't afraid to add if it got up a little through 50 there. But we'll see what it does. Might end up taking off some for a loss to reduce our risk, depending on where it gets to. VNET still coming down. We're at that previous resistance. It's kind of going through. Might look to cover out our 60% here, closer to 50. Let's load it. We'll put it in at 55. We're on the bid there on VNET for our 60%. It was 2 cents away, so we'll take it there. Yeah, we would have just got the fill. It's all good. So I'm not mad at how we played this so far. Just a little unfortunate that we're this early and this thing is not pulling back whatsoever. We're going to probably have to be really patient with this anyway. I mean, like I said, we have a pretty bad average on this one. And we definitely did not get that pop up there to 26. So we are at the mercy of the market gods here on NVTA. Just waiting to see what it wants to do. Like I said, we're well within our risk. We played this. I mean, this is exactly what we want it to do. Like when it makes a squeeze like this, but we're just not getting a pullback. So I don't hate how we played it per se. We were a little early, obviously, but I mean, that's part of the game. We're well within our risk management here. Still have our remaining shares in VNET. It's down there at 2040. Our average is up there at 2146. So looking fine there. The NVTA is not really cooperating whatsoever. Trying to be patient here. My emotions are getting me a little bit. But we are having to wait a lot more than we would normally wait. Here we go. Looking for that 24 test. Alright, we're going to take off those 30 from up top, and we'll try to be patient. We'll take those off at a loss just to reduce our risk a little bit here. It is trying to hold VWAPs right there. Probably could have got a little bit better of a fill there if we would have left that order out. So that was 1/3 of our position. Still got 60% of it here. I'm just trying to manage risk here. And this is that squeeze that we were kind of afraid of. This thing was trying over and over again at this area, and it just did not want to go. And now it's a matter of what it wants to do after this bounce. Obviously, we're hoping it comes back down towards 24. So the only thing that could have made this trade a little bit better is if we would have got that ad on that last pop, but it happened so fast we just missed it. So at this point, we're almost kind of managing a losing trade, which, hey, sometimes you're going to do that. So we updated our stop here. If it wants to go above this area that tried to hold, I'm not really interested in it over 25 anyway, but at least we're showing that there is a little resistance there at 25.05. So hopefully that'll hold strong. So ideally, we'd want this 25 to hold, come down and test 24 again. But it's looking like it wants to go higher without coming down to retest it. Right, we're looking for this to be kind of a sloppy seconds, the bouncy ball effect. And hopefully that 25.05 is the top. I mean, can't go too much higher because then it wouldn't be too much of a bouncy ball because 25.50 is right there. That was kind of where it was being used as resistance before. But it's not looking good. It's definitely being held up here a little bit. Right back to 25 on the ask. So we're probably going to get some slippage out of this thing as well. Yep. Watch, we're going to get filled up there at 18. Yep, 25.18. The slippage is always fun. That's for sure. All right, so we're out of that. It didn't end up being that big of a loser. It was half of a max loss, but it still kind of sucks. Ooh, bad fill. 73. Thought I was getting up in the 80s. See what kind of drop we get here. Put an order out there just in case for about half of it. See if we get down through 50. All right, we'll take the quick little trade there. Get some of it back off of NVTA. It's been a tough couple of weeks. We're still profitable, like we're still green overall, even in these last couple of weeks. It's just there's been some tough trades in there. Some very tough ones. Ones that just aren't really giving us the typical moves that we're used to. I mean, they're giving us the moves we're used to as far as getting into they're showing our edge, our setup, our strategy, but they're not giving us the pullbacks that we're used to. I mean, granted, NVTA did give a decent pullback, right? If we want to get technical, let's take a look. Technically, let's take a look at the fib. We go to the start of the move here. Our 50% line. I mean, it doesn't get much better than that, right? So we can't really say it didn't give us a pullback. It did. It's just our average sucked. It was just really bad. We never got our ad up in there. So we started it early, and it just, hey, it happens, right? You're gonna have these bad trades. We had aces. This is how I like to explain. If you're a poker player, We had pocket aces. We made a raise, got called. See the flop. It's pretty bad. It's like Jack 10 9 all hearts, and we don't have the ace of hearts. We got 2 black aces. So we start to get this pullback. We're in a little heavy. Don't have the best average. And we get the pullback to about 50%. So decent turn card. Let's say it's like the 2 of clubs. So it's completely useless. It gives us a better chance of thinking that we're in control of this hand. And then the river comes, and it's the queen of hearts. So now you got 4 hearts out there. You got 4 to a straight. And you're sitting there with basically a hand that beats almost nothing. And unfortunately, they shove all in. They were first to act. And what are you supposed to do? You just fold, right? Obviously, you're probably beat. You just accept the loss. So pocket aces aren't always going to win. It just happens. It's part of the game, and it sucks. It sucks when they lose. But the quicker that you can learn that you're not in control, the better. And then we got, say, like pocket queens over here, right? We got a nice little extension, and we put a bet in, and it pulled right back. And that was saying, hey, we got a good flop. It was, I don't know, like 10-6-2 rainbow. We put a bet out there, and they folded. There you go. Quick little scalp. It happened. Like, you can relate trading to a lot of different things, but poker's always been my favorite. And again, I can sit here and say, oh, this thing never really pulled back. But, I mean, it did give us that 50% pullback of the move. It's just our average sucked. So it's just part of it. There we go. Lots of shares there at 20. Getting eaten through. That's the only time I will say that level 2 you can kind of see something happening, is when there is a big order there and it's actually like staying there and get like the shares are going through. That's the only time that you can really say that level 2 is worth looking at. We finally got that test. That was a lot of shares sitting there. I would assume we're going to come back down to it. When you have a lot of shares sitting there like that, the price tends to be attracted to it. But it might take a while for it to get through, so I'm probably just going to take this off here. Yeah, we're going to take it off there. So it ends up being a pretty good trade. There's a lot of shares sitting there at 20, and it was proven that they're actually sitting there looking to get filled. It's probably a pretty big position that helped push this down, and they're looking to get covered at that key area. So whether that actually does get eaten through or not, not really going to look to mess with it. It's a pretty key whole dollar out of 20. We weren't looking to get too much more out of it. We rode this down pretty well, so not going to be too upset with the overall position. Plus, it started to really slow down. Don't really want to sit here for another, half hour looking to see if that 20 area wants to break. So pretty good trade, and I like it. All right, traders, that was my trades. We'll start here on NVTA. This is the one that kind of got away from us. It kind of sucked, but hey, these trades are going to happen, right? We started this one a little bit early. We had that previous resistance sitting here at 2250. We jumped in when it got up there towards 23. Our first entry was actually right at 23. It was 2292, and it felt very toppy there. Looking at the live trade, if you go back, that was why when it tried to jump through 23, we were okay with it. We were looking for this thing to kind of feel a little toppy there through 23, and it was. As you can see, it did come back down through all the way to 2285, but then it said, hey, we're not done. So it popped back up, and we ended up getting this third ad, which ended up being right before the 50 break, which was at 2340, and after that, we were looking for the 2350 break, and unfortunately, we got a little bit more than that. This thing went straight up through, and it went right up to 24, so we got our ad on the other side of 24, thinking that this was going to be a great spot, thinking that, okay, we're going to look to get a little bit of a pullback. If not, we're going to hopefully consolidate and look to move back down towards that previous resistance. But this thing had other plans. This thing shot straight up towards 25. We got another ad up there. Let's see where the ad was. It was at, where'd it go? 2470. So we got all the way up towards 25. I think we hit it on the pop through 2450 when it was around that area. And then this thing, right after we hit it, just kept going. This thing was just making us go, wow. And sure enough, this thing went all the way up to 26. We completely missed that pop up there towards 26. It happened so fast, came pretty much straight back down. You can see that kind of candle. It was a big squeeze candle. It came right back down. And then it started to consolidate here. So the only problem that I think I had with this trade was that I did not add in this consolidation and just risking off the highs. We were risking off the highs anyway. At that point, our max loss was pretty much right at that key level of high of day. So I think that kind of got in my head that if we added those last shares in this consolidation and then it went high of day, we were going to be over our max loss. And I think that kind of played into my head a little bit, but we had to realize that we were still in a situation where we were looking for a pretty good pullback after this big move. Could have drew the fibs and realized that that area was right around where we ended up getting our cover. We didn't draw the fibs live. We actually drew this after the fact. So it was a pretty good read on our part to notice that we were about 50% of the way when we took off most of our position. We were looking for this to continue down towards our average. Our average was really crappy. It was at 2381. So we were really looking for this thing to come back down and help us out just because we didn't get that ad. Even if we did get that ad, it would have put us right at where we did cover. It would have put us right around 2415. And it's one of those things. We can't go back and fix it. But in the future, the whole point of splitting my 112 into half, 1-1, so it's still 112, just in 3 more, like I get an additional 3 entries, was to try to hit the total of the 1-1, so the first 4, if it makes a move like this on the front side, and then look to add in those extra shares on the back side with minimal risk, knowing where high of day, where our stop is going to be, right? That's the idea. But knowing that I got one of those last ads on the front side, when it started to consolidate, and knowing that I did my math where my max loss without any more ads was right above high of day, it definitely got in my head, and we ended up not taking the ad. Could have came down, so this could have been a break-even trade if we would have taken our position off on this pullback. But unfortunately, we didn't get that ad. It didn't end up a break-even trade. It ended up a decent loss, but nothing too crazy. So it consolidated here. It moved higher, and then we saw this break here, and we saw a bit of a squeeze. So this is a trade that we would have entered if we were never in this trade, and that's why we took it. However, we got the pretty quick pullback right to that previous resistance, so we took it off, right? It was just a quick in, quick out type trade, and as you can see, it did consolidate there and ended up moving higher yet again. It is starting to finally pull back, but that was just a trade that we would have taken irregardless of this first trade. So moving over to our second trade, which was on VNET. This one was much better looking than NVTA. But these are what we look for. NVTA was just out of control. Previous resistance here at 2070. This thing moved up. We got our first entry here at 2133. It popped up through 2150. We got to add. And then as you can see, this thing rolled over, took 75% of our position on the way back down. We were looking to see what it did here at previous resistance. We got to pop through, took some of it off. It did come up, it used that as resistance, and it kept trying to use it as resistance over and over again. And we saw the base of 20 forming. We were looking to try to get low a day here, but we waited quite a bit through this consolidation for this to try to come down here at 20. And there was a really big buyer there. Usually we don't pay attention to level 2, but it was kind of hard to miss the 80,000 shares that were sitting there at 20. And eventually it actually did get eaten up, and it did go through, but as you can see, it got bought right back up and it's back through. But we were looking for closer to low of day, and when I saw that big order sitting there, when we came down and tried to retest it again, I just took it off thinking that it was going to take a long time to get through, even though it happened pretty much right after that. And as you can see, the big volume spikes there to get through it. But there was a lot of people buying up as well, and that's what caused it to kind of start to consolidate back to the upside. So that was our 2 trades. If you guys missed it, there's not going to be any more live streams in the morning. If you're interested in why, it's just because I've been getting a little burnt out. I'm going to take a little bit of a break from it. We are still going to do a live stream that's open to everyone at least once a month. We're still going to be doing the Friday night live streams. Those are always going to be there. I find those to be very helpful to not only me, but to people that like to join in. They're very educational, and we kind of get to talk about, get that one last little dose of the stock market before the weekend. For anybody that is part of the high-level support for the Saturday night live streams, so those are still going to happen. There's still going to be 2 of those every month. We're going to be doing this Saturday for the second one for this month. And that's all I have for you today. So if you want to participate in the Discord, feel free. I'm still going to be in there every morning. I'm just not going to be live streaming anymore because it's just a little bit too much of a burden at the moment, and I'm going to just scale it back a little bit. So that's all I have. Like and subscribe, guys, if you haven't already. Always appreciate that support. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below, and I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Peace.